Good morning, afternoon or evening, and welcome to another 0AD Alpha 23 replay analysis. In this week's video we're going to be revisiting a couple of people that we've recently seen playing against Borg. The first of those is RolandSC2, and while he did manage to draw the Iberians in the random civilization lottery, and Borg got Carthaginians, who are probably the worst civilization to have on a mainland map, nonetheless, he put in a very good display and managed to beat Borg despite being a good 5, 6, maybe even 700 rating points behind him, while RolandSC2's opponent in this match, DoctorOrgans, to be completely honest, was totally humbled as Borg absolutely ravaged him in one of the most incredible performances of this game I think I've ever seen. So based on that, you might think that the odds would favour RolandSC2, but when you look at the ratings, Roland's 250 to 300 points behind. So if you want to know who's going to win and whether those ratings are correct, or the previous match against Borg is a better indicator of who's the best player, well, let's have a watch. We'll find out. So here we are, we're just a few seconds in, and as they had random civilizations, let's go and familiarise ourselves with who's drawn what. So at the top here in the yellow we have DoctorOrgans. He is the Spartans. Because he's the Spartans, he has gone for, actually that's so he's got his two men building a storehouse and got three of the women immediately collecting food, and he's got two he's got two of his soldiers and a woman collecting wood, not food, sorry about that, got that wrong around again, and he's building a house early on. So he's now sent some of the women off to collect some more food. He's also got two soldiers collecting food there. He'll want to stop that as soon as possible because that's a waste. They'll do that very, very slowly. But this is one of the things with having Spartans, is that it makes sense to build a house quite early, because otherwise you very, very quickly run out of population space. And if you build the storehouse and the farmstead and try and get the berry upgrade, it's just not practical. So he's gone for the berry upgrade, which means he really has to build a house rather than the storehouse, although he's going to want to get the storehouse as soon as possible, so because then he'll be able to get the upgrade to make gathering wood that much more quicker. So now on the flip side of that, what we have here is RolandSC2. He's got the Gauls, which means that he gets a population bonus from all of his buildings, and also all of his buildings are made of wood. So that's really useful for them. I mean, it means that the Gauls and the Britons are really, really fast developing. You can get to a very high population very quickly because you only need to collect wood to begin with. So, and in the case of the Britons, it's actually even better because your main spam troop are slingers, and they require less wood and more stone, which means you can actually develop really, really quickly and try and take someone out actually in phase 1 if you're particularly good. So he's building he's strangely got rid of a house there and decided he wants a house over here instead. I don't know what the difference in those populations is, but you can see he was briefly housed, but it was very, very brief. But he's going to want to get another house up pretty quickly, and is that what's going to happen now? No, he's not getting a house. He's got 25 seconds until these skirmishers are ready, so he's going to want a house. I don't know how long it takes for a person here to build one, but I would have thought for about 3 people it's probably about 10 seconds. So if he doesn't want to be housed, then that would be a good opportunity. A good opportunity doesn't even make sense. It would be a very wise thing to do. So their level at the moment in population, both got 34. Where's this additional house? He didn't build it. Okay, so he really needs another house, and I don't think he's noticed yet, which is not. He's got plenty of wood. There's absolutely no reason that he couldn't just build a few houses just to buy himself a bit of breathing space. But it is important that in the game, if you are learning to play, and one thing that you'll see from the better players is that there's seconds, if that, where their buildings that can produce soldiers and citizens are not doing that, because that's one of the things that gets things moving. You build things that much more quickly. If you've got more people collecting wood, then you can build more buildings and build more troops. If you've got more people gathering food, then again you can build more people, and then they can gather more food, and it's a very positive cycle. It's kind of like if you studied economic theory, it's like a recession. You get yourself into a downward spiral. The opposite of that. So, and if you haven't studied economics, go and do it. It's a lot of fun. That's what I did, and I enjoyed that. So you've got now, what's his name? DoctorOrgans has built his first barracks. Now, contrary to what I just said, is absolutely critical, and the best players will do. Oh no, he's producing from it. Sorry, that was misplaced. I thought that he wasn't actually producing anyone. But he is, and it's important with Spartans. You want to be saving your population, because you've only got a population that's 30% less. Sorry, 10% less. It comes out with 30 troops in this example. So apologies for that. That was a slip of the tongue. So DoctorOrgans is only going to have a population of 270 to play with, as opposed to the population of 300 that's going to come from the what's his name? RolandSC2. So because of that, he doesn't want to produce too many women. Or we'll just focus on this for a second. This is quite interesting. So you see here that walruses, along with elephants, will chase you if you attack them. So if you attack them, then you antagonize them, and they come after you. So unlike deer that would run away. So what DoctorOrgans done there was he found a walrus somewhere, attacked it just once, not enough to kill it, but enough to antagonize it. And in doing so, that walrus followed him all the way back to the town centre, at which point he killed it, but then doesn't have the distance to move. You see these are two walruses over here that have both been antagonised. You can tell by the fact they've got slight damage to them, and what he needs to do now is just kill those two off, because they are angry and they're chasing these three horsemen. They've taken a little bit of a while to get there, and if he doesn't do something soon, they'll actually manage to attack him. Okay, it looks like he just did it. I thought for a second he was only going to attack the first one and let the second one attack his horseman, but he didn't. So well done. Looking at the map as a whole, let's have a quick look. We're 6.5 minutes into the game. Populations are dead level on 69 apiece, of which you can see DoctorOrgans is virtually all female citizens, whereas there's a bit more. I don't know where the rest of the people are. A little bit more in RolandSC2 has got 20 soldiers as opposed to about 10, I think it was. 15. So it's not hugely different actually, but he's got those 3 cavalry as well, which are a great source of food. He's got, can you see them? Right, you can see these 3 walruses up here, so he should really be get on to shooting at them enough that it would get them to come here, because let's see how much food they actually have. 300 food. They're a really, really good source of food, and the quickest way, hunting is far and away the quickest way to get food. Is he going to? No, he's just standing there. Doesn't want to attack. That's classic. These horses then, the cavalry, if we look from DoctorOrgans' point of view, he appears to have this guy used as a kind of sentry. He gives him good vision of what's going on, but as there are these warriors, I suppose he's got plenty of food now, so he's not so concerned, but he could be utilising that horse a bit better. I'm trying to see where the other cavalry are. Okay, so he's finally attacked these 2, and he's getting them now to come back towards the town centre, ready to be killed and butchered. So here it comes. Yeah, it looks like his 3rd cavalryman was actually in the town centre, healing, and that's it. So with those cavalry bows, they will now get plenty of food very, very quickly, which is good. Certainly good play from there. What's interesting, like Roland has done not particularly well in terms of population. I'm quite surprised that his population is as low as it is, because A, he should be developing more quickly than DoctorOrgans, but B, there's not been any raiding or anything. Ordinarily, if populations are sort of a little bit depressed, it's because there's been a bit of skirmishing going backwards and forwards and harassment from cavalry, and that works in two ways. It doesn't just kill people. If you have to take this group of woodcutters, for instance, if they had to respond and start attacking horses that then run off, or the women had to jump into a house and then jump back out, that's all time that they've lost that they could have been cutting wood. So with harassment, it's worth bearing in mind you don't have to actually kill people to make it worthwhile. The other thing is you might capture a house or something, and then you get a little bit of loot, and you also could potentially stop the other person from building things. I mean, it's one of the things that's particularly early on in the game is actually quite overlooked, like quite a lot. Is let's pretend this was quite a bit earlier, and this area wasn't so well protected. If DoctorOrgans was able to, take out 2 houses, that's 10 population, and you see at the moment the population gap between what Roland has and what Roland can build is only just over 10. I mean, at the moment actually it's gone a bit higher, it's gone to 18, but it was 15 or 13 or something. So yeah, it was 13, which means that 2 houses go, then suddenly you can't build, and particularly when these get quite remote. So if these houses, for instance, that are, well, actually still got a group of 6 women, they're doing nothing as well. That's not very good. So you've got 13 women and a cavalryman doing nothing. They should be doing something, building houses, doing something. I don't know what exactly, but building houses or farming. It looks like these ones were meant to be farming, but they're not for some reason. But anyway, he's still behind in population, which isn't what I would be expected, but he has gone to phase 2, so that might explain why he's a little bit behind in population. Now DoctorOrgans has now got his soldiers, and he's got his economy working pretty well. He could do with building another storehouse a little bit closer. Over here, the issue with the thing as he has it at the moment is that it's quite a long way to walk. He's also got just 2 skirmishers doing nothing there. Yeah, you shouldn't be having your soldiers and your citizens having to walk that kind of distance to chop some wood. Even this is pushing it. I would expect another storehouse to go up soon. This kind of distance is ideal that he has here for the things. What you basically want is people just to turn around, and that's it. So you can see, if we just see someone on this side, who's close to getting 10. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, this guy, he's on 12, he's mining, he's doing a good job, 13, 14, 15, and then all he'll have to do to deposit that, turns around, and he's back straight away. Contrast that with someone over here. This guy is on 10, he's going to then, so 12, 13, 14, 15, and he's got stuck because it's a bit of a traffic jam, and he's gone. And all of that time the other guy has been gathering more resources. Now let's have a look at the upgrades that they've got, because it's a bit strange to not have seen some fighting, to be honest, at this point. Normally in these sort of games you would expect there to be fighting. He's not producing from either of these barracks, and yet he's building another barracks. He's really short of food at this point, which is very odd. He really shouldn't. That's the one thing. He's got 8 farms, he's got 40 women working on it. He's got needs to go up a level to get the next farm upgrade. That's been his issue. So he's kind of caught in a what do you call it, like a catch-22, in that he really needs to get more food, but he can't get the upgrade for more food until he gets to the next level, which he can't do because he hasn't got the required amount of food. But he's starting to build towers, which is actually that's probably not. That's a reasonable thing to do at this point, because you must realise that it's a little bit delayed in terms of getting to phase 2, and therefore using up that excess wood is quite smart. That will now mean that he He can upgrade these as soon as he goes to phase 2 because he's going to have sufficient stone, which means gets him quick breezing through phase 2. So although his phase 1's quite long, his phase 2 may only be a minute or 90 seconds. Let's have a look and see if he's got sufficient other... no, he hasn't. So chances are, if I were to wager a bet, I'd say he'll probably build a market and an armory, what they call it, a blacksmith, and in doing so, that would give him a good, and that would allow him to move straight away to phase 3. Roland, on the other hand, should really be going towards phase 3 relatively quickly. He should also be going. He's got the upgrades to phase 2. He's now managed to get himself into an advantage in terms of population, which is good. He's building very, very good move here. You build whatever it's called, a barracks, and that barracks gives you additional territory. Then build a storehouse on the edge of that, gives you a little bit more territory, and you can start gathering the wood from there. So well played. These guys again can just gather the wood from here. He's got, I thought I saw a tower, but maybe I didn't. So the combination of a market, a temple, and these two blacksmiths mean he is able to go to phase 3, and he's going to phase 3 right now. So he's had a slightly longer phase 2 than possibly Roland is going to have. Let's see if Roland is upgrading as quickly as we thought. Yep, he's got, there's the two towers there a few seconds away. Here's the market, here's the armory, blacksmith, sorry I keep calling it an armory, and with that he can also go to phase 3, and I think after this hoplite is built, that's exactly what he'll look to do. And he's made me look silly by not doing that. Okay, surely. Press the button, you can't even build anyone. Oh, there he goes, finally. Okay, so one of the interesting things is that actually in the game, time is your most precious resource. As cheesy as that may seem, it really is true. You need to, every second counts. You need to be progressing as quickly as you can be. So for DoctorOrgans, say he's now got what, 9 fields, 10 fields? 10 fields is plenty for an army this size. You don't need as much in the way of fields for food, because there's no elephants, and with the fact that you can get Skiritai Commander, you don't need as many champions. Although having said that, you will want, you will possibly want some champions. Looking at things, I can't actually see any Skiritai here. That in itself is a strange thing. He's not built any Skiritai Commandos thus far. What I would normally do when I play as the Spartan is I like to use build the Skiritai early, but use them to build. They're not as good at collecting resources as other citizen soldiers are, but they are incredibly strong. So now he's gone to phase 3. Here comes the fortress, and here comes the mess hall. The mess hall will provide his hero, and as he has gone for a, looking at I think he's got he's definitely got a majority of skirmishers. The hero that he gets, I forget their names, but there's one that offers a bonus for skirmishers, and I imagine that will be the one that he will choose. On the flip side of this, we've got Vetter. What's he going to give? 20% and +1 capture for soldiers at siege. That's a pretty decent hero. Vercingetorix. I don't know how you pronounce that. And he's now producing slingers by the bucket load, which is exactly what you would expect in terms of upgrades. He's got all the armor upgrades, and he's got all of the range infantry upgrades. And as you can see, he's got quite a lot of spearmen actually. I'm surprised as to how many spearmen he has. That's quite a good mix. So, and he started killing off his women that he made earlier to gather resources. That was what that screen was. So he's going to replace those with soldiers. even though I know that it's part of the game, I still find it difficult to actually do. It just seems really mean to just produce all these female citizens. Once they've sort of served their purpose of cutting some wood, you just kill them off. He's got now a watchtower here and another watchtower here, which is very, very good play as well. So he doesn't want to be outflanked by a large force, and also this will give him, chances are, if DoctorOrgans were to attempt to throw some rams in round the side sneakily. In fact, having just said that, this is an ideal. So there you go, absolutely brilliant. You can see the value of having that watchtower. So now he's aware that something's going on over there. So really, yeah, very, very well done. Good play from Roland. So he can look to counter that now, should he choose to. He's actually ignoring it, which is, I'm not sure about what he should. I suppose he couldn't just wait for things. If nothing happens for a while, then chances are they're building a town centre. And if they get a town centre in that part, then that's going to be quite dangerous. So what have we got? He built now. He's got some skirmishers to add to his slingers and spearmen, and he's got some rams. He's got his hero, and he is off. Oh, here comes another group of Roland's soldiers. I'm really, really surprised that Roland hasn't built any Skiritai commandos. Really strange. So at the point that he makes that attack, he seems to have left his home completely isolated. Not oh, and he's having to bring them all back. So that didn't go well whatsoever. That is something that it's worth thinking about doing. It's always a risk, and he was unfortunate in the timing there. Had DoctorOrgans been the one that attacked first, there's every chance that he would now, it would be Roland that was having to turn around. But he's kept a group of them here, and they're building a town centre, and he's also got a group here, but they're not doing anything. Why they're there, I don't know. He could be using them to harass the farms or do anything, basically, but they're not. Okay, problem here, as I said, he didn't build any Skiritai. He's got one Skiritai, and he has got the hero, I believe, that offers the bonus for, yeah, Brasidas, that's his name, I remember. So Brasidas is there. As you can see, he's going to give 25% attack and +1 armor for javelins, which is great, but he's trying to fight off the rams. He needs some swordsmen, and he hasn't built any, or trained rather, any Skiritai. He's now training Skiritai one at a time, and he's doing it from a reasonable number of barracks. From 5 different barracks, he's training Skiritai, but it's not going to, they're not going to come quickly enough really for that. Apologies for the fact that the game is slowing down a little bit here. So looking at this from DoctorOrgans' point of view, he's under pressure here and just doesn't have any. He needs some swordsmen. That is why he didn't build any swordsmen earlier. I don't know, but it's easy to sit here and critique rather than actually be doing it. This is unfortunate. Look at the Skiritai here. They're just... No, they are finally going to attack the rams. What's it looking like in terms of... I don't know who's got the greater number of troops here. Yeah, it looks like he's going to just possibly be able to repel this. So what's happening down here, if we have a look? Yeah, this small group of troops that built a town centre hasn't really paid off. He's managed to take over this barracks, which is very good. What he needs is to... he really needs to hope that these skirmishers get spawned. Actually, it looks like they're going to be fine to hold on to that barracks. So he has done a good job there in holding that off, but he's still not managed to stop these rams. God. He's finally producing a ram of his own, but because he's producing his Skiritai one at a time and didn't actually have any Skiritai like to start with, he's going to find it virtually impossible. He also seems to have run out of... Has he run out of stone? Metal, yeah, he has run out of metal, so he can't produce any Skiritai now. Because he's producing them one at a time, they've all just kind of lost. So he's only got 10 overall, and none of them are actually getting these rams. This is really... Oh, he's run... Yeah, the Skiritai are attempting to get to the rams, but they're just getting massacred en route, because all of his barracks are too far away. He's still got this nice little group of troops to do nothing, so well done on that. And he's attacking this, which has now got some... it's going to go down, isn't it? That's going to be killed off. This is the good thing about having the Celtic civilizations, is that where other civilizations are unable to just kill off buildings because of the slingers, they can do that. They're cheap and they're really effective. Is he finally going to get this ram? Okay, he's bringing his own ram. If he can get... where's the ram? Is it going to go before the town centre? It's going to be close, but I think it is just going to go before the town centre. That has given him a very, very brief respite. And in doing so, he's actually possibly just about saved the game. So he had to kill that ram. He did so, and now if he can get rid of these slings, he needs to get his ram out of there. It's just going to lose it for nothing. And this is the thing, Roland is now going to attempt to take over this town centre. Is he only... I think he only had one person in it, and he just took him out, which is really quite stupid. That would be firing at the moment, but this guy is instead deciding to build a storehouse on his own. And he's doing it... What's going on? They need to get inside. That's the only way they can keep hold of it. And he's sending people off to go and build a storehouse over here. So a few of these should die on their way out. But as it stands, if we look at... Now he's sent some more rams in. Those rams are just going to kill his one ram easily. That's the end of that. And they're in the same situation again. He's no longer got a hero. And he's running out of metal from this mine. Is there another metal? There's one metal mine here and another one here, but he's not getting it. He's got 2 more rams. His population is a third of Roland's. I think it's basically done. It would be incredible if he managed to turn this around. But it's not impossible, but, well, I think it's pretty much impossible. Yeah, to be completely straight up. I'm surprised actually that Roland's turned around there. He could have just, I think... he's going to take out... He's going to come in with all of his army and... Yeah, he's just going to take out this CC. So all that DoctorOrgans can hope is that the CC... what's going on down here? So he's finally got these soldiers to do something. It looks like... I don't know what they're doing. They're just running around, which is always nice. Like, I don't know what the point of that is. And it looks like he's building sword cavalry. He is building sword cavalry here, which is very, very useful. The combination of his troops now attacking this town centre, I mean, that will be gone in no time. And I think with that goes... He's also going to lose this barracks. If he's smart, he won't destroy it completely. He'll just take it over, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop. No, he's going. Had he taken it over, he could have captured this barracks. He's going to capture the barracks anyway, actually, so it's not a real issue. The barracks is now his. If he garrisons it, well, he should decide to destroy it. Oh, fair enough. He doesn't need it, per se. It's just got a group of troops here that are coming around the back, but this is just... the game's in its last... his last throws here. He could do with... Okay, he's still not got much metal. Oh, he's not got any wood. This is just... Yeah, he's really, really somehow managed to mess this. And this person, they're gathering wood quite slowly. He's building more barracks, although why he's building more barracks when he hasn't got any troops as it is. He could do is spending that money on some troops. And look at this group of... There's 37 of them, but they're on their way out. This is going to be... I'd wager that this is the last attack of the game. What he's not doing is he's not getting his rams to go anywhere. Like, these are really expensive. He's not got any wood or food, and they're doing, it's another group of cavalry coming in around the side. You could do with at least sending the rams to do something. Like, just leaving them doing nothing isn't really. There's rams over here as well. They're going to come after things. He's got the skirmishers. He's got a hero now. Post's got Brasidas, so he has at least got. Assuming Brasidas is here, he has at least got a bonus on there. But what are you doing with the rams? Okay, fair play. Actually, he's used the rams to kill off a ram. But it might have been more helpful to have the rams down here. You know, attack the fortress, do something that's going to get him. Like a counter-attack that's going to see him need to pull the troops back. Because at the moment he doesn't have to pull them back. Rams are not great at taking out soldiers. That's really frustrating. Yeah, use them on this ram. Use them on these 4 rams. Do something. It's so frustrating in the game when this sort of thing happens, because you have to just repeatedly click attack the ram, because the ram will just get excited about the fact that there's like a slinger who's doing absolutely nothing, and will go and attack them instead. Okay, this is not going to help. Skirmishes against these rams is of no value whatsoever. He hasn't got any troops garrisoned in here, so it's not going to be firing a lot of arrows, or certainly not as many as it could. And they're backing off. I thought that would be the end, but Roland's still taking out these things. He still doesn't have any. He's finally decided to build hoplites, and he's built them in the one barracks that's going to be gone before he can build a hoplite. So that will be the end of that. His hero's dead again, and it looks like he's got a handful of soldiers and some rams who are being taken out as we speak. Still got a handful of troops here. They could have taken over barracks. They could have, well, they did kill off some of the women there. Yeah, he's just taking over these things. He'll get some loot, and he'll also get the opportunity to. He's actually decided not to take it, which is interesting. I'm going to take this one instead. I thought, not only do you get loot when you take them, but you stop your opponent from being able to get his hands on that wood. Is he going to destroy the? He's not. He's taking them over, but then just going and taking over the next thing. Over here, what do we have is 4 pikemen are finally going to go after these rams, and some skiritai. But the skiritai are on completely the wrong side, and they're going to be massacred before they get the chance to do anything, certainly before they get the chance to take out a ram. No, here comes. He's got 4 skiritai, they can finally take out some rams, but look at this wave after wave of attacks. This is done, and is the ram going to finally? He's finally going to take out a ram. He has success. It's a wonderful. It's a totally Pyrrhic victory, but it is a victory nonetheless. And now that was great play. Just there, in case you didn't see that, he garrisoned his soldiers inside the civic centre, and then set the muster point to be on that ram, and took the ram out. So yeah, it was a touch of class, but it didn't help in the long term. You can see his population is down to 9. I don't even know where those 9 people are. I thought for a second he might have been doing so. It looks like some of them were here. Well, that's the end of the game. I don't know to say where his 9 troops are. Let's try and find out. He's got 4 people here who, it's weird, they're just attacking while these guys just wander past. And he's got some people in houses. No, he hasn't. That's it. These 3 people are still there, but he hasn't resigned. It's like we are the knights that say "ni." It's not over. It's just a flesh wound. That's that. That's the end, surely. Yep, Dr. Organs has got no people, but somehow, what's going on? Why is the game not over? Ah, he finally resigned with no people. Could have resigned a little bit earlier, to be completely honest. So yeah, there was the game. I think the resounding sort of answer to um, whether the ratings or the game against Borg gave a better indicator were that the game against Borg gave a very good indicator. It was, yeah, I wasn't, in terms of the strategy from Dr. Organs, I would have preferred to see some Skiritai in a bit earlier. They might have helped him if he'd had a decent number of those against the Rams rather than having so many skirmishers. I think it was also unfortunate that he attacked at exactly the point that he was attacked, meaning his armies were split and displaced. But Roland recovered from a slow start. I think that was the other thing, is that Roland was just given the chance to develop, or both sides were given the chance to develop, and I'm surprised at that, and it's led to basically what you wouldn't have expected. Normally, the longer term impact of those things is that the Spartans would have a greater chance as they get their siege together. They get their champions and the hero, and they can really like just make a rolling kind of attack. They just can be like a juggernaut, almost impossible to stop once they get going with a large number of really, really good troops. He never produced those troops, so, and he never produced the siege engines as well. He could have had some bolt shooters, which again, the bolts would have been great. A line of bolts protected by even some spearmen would have taken out the Rams, and would also have really been good against the vast numbers of skirmishers and slingers and so on. But anyway, enough of that. I enjoyed the game. I hope you did too, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future. Cheers.